In part one, I tested painting a coaster to see if it would work for my large tray, and I didn't really like how it came out. I poured it, it looks great, but it's got paint lines. You can see that it's actually painted on, so I decided not to go with this method, and I didn't like that first layer of fish. So I just started building my tray by using tiny aquarium pebbles and filled all the edges with it. Added a little bit of flocked grassing to give it a more of a grassy field, and instead of painting the depth into the tray, I used different color mica powders and with my resin to get a 3D effect. And then I put one final layer of a light green mica powder on the back, and now I flipped it over and ready for part two, building the inside of the pond. So come along with me, it's Suzy Q. Hey. So my battery died, but I started with the first layer. To make it look far, far down, I use these teeny tiny stickers. Teeny tiny stickers. And that's down. I put a couple of tufts of, I'll just say vegetation, because they're not real plants. I mean, they're not even looking like real plants, but I put them down, and I'm going to give it a quick coat, and I want it to be like tinted green, if that makes sense. And I was able to, I don't know if you could see, paint some of these bright yellow koi. I added some white and some black dots to it. So I kind of like painted up some of these fish so that because there's only the same 4 fish. And I did not make these. I do want to make my next pond, make my own koi out of Fimo. And I think for this, I'm going to want to use translucent, because I don't want to totally lose these fish, but I want them to be mottled a little bit. Because the next layer, I'll put bigger fish on top. So I need to get that 3D effect. And the whole idea behind putting them on the very dark part, because that's the part that was supposed to be deeper. The next level up, the fish would be larger. So I'm waiting for the next level for that. And a part of me wants to say a brown. There's no, I should have tested this. Where's my tester? This is what I tested. And this is with dark greens and browns. So I did put the dark green in a little brown. I'm glad I did this tester coaster to see how it would look. Because this is a lot of resin to be playing a guessing game. Well, at least it's a lot of resin to me. So I think I'll try a little brown. I'm only putting 2 drops in, because I definitely don't want it to be overwhelming. I'm sure I can add more if I want. Okay. Let's see how this looks. Can you... Did I make it too dark? I don't think so. Let's see. Beautiful. Now I'll let this dry, or cure, sorry. I'll let this cure, and then I'll start with my next layer. Even though it's not a deep layer, I'm hoping the size difference of the fish and the different color of green will help with the perception of making it look further down than it is. That's what I'm hoping for. I'll be back in 12 hours. So this is my dry setup for the next layer. Nothing's in there yet.
But this is what I was thinking. Except for these can't go on this layer. They have to sit on top of the pond. So my lily pads sit on top. Some are stickers, some are dried flowers, some are crepe paper. None of them are stuck in yet. Thank goodness. But this is what I usually do, is I make sure everything looks about right, and then when I go to set it in, it could be all different. These are set in, the smaller ones, but the bigger ones are not. And I think that's it. Yeah, this is how we left. This is how we left it to dry. How does that look? I am absolutely loving it so far. And I think this next layer is still going to be tinted. Ish. Clear-ish. I like this, but I'm missing some things here on the bottoms. Maybe some rocks and stuff. Maybe I'll get some. Where's my rocks? See, like maybe... Yeah, I'll do the rocks along the edges. Like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do the UV. Because I can't... Sorry. Sorry, buddy. Pack it in, kinda. And then I'll shake everything loose that's... It will come loose. Oh, I gotta do this wall still. Well, while this, I'll do this side first, because then I'm going to pour the UV resin on it. Okay. Gonna need some more rocks. Oh yeah, my chair's rolling on rocks now. I'm going to have to fix that. So I have this mixture of green and brown translucent, which I think would make a great next layer. Not too dark. It looks dark in the cup, but I don't think it's too dark at all. But it is very bubbly. So I might have to get out my heat gun. And I'm going to kind of pour it over the rocks this time to make sure everything stays in its place. Ooh. Let's see if it has that same effect it did on the mica. A little bit of ripples. It'll level out, but maybe if I got it right at that edge where it was very thick and did some alcohol spray, maybe that would ripple it really nice. Oh, look, I like this. Now this black koi's tail is sticking up. Of course, he's the one I just added. And I bet you because I used UV resin, and the UV resin he's sitting on made a little mound. Oh, I do like the way these rocks look too. Yay! Okay. I think it's going well. You know, real quick, I think I'm going to put in these fish. As long as they stand up right. My next layer fish. I don't know why I always put 2 or 3, but I do. Okay, while this is drying, I tried to make a couple of floating baskets. I made some floating baskets that I'm going to put into my pond. Okay, what I'm going to do is make a little basket out of the black UV resin, because that's what my baskets are, black. And I'm going to shape it a little bit. You know, you don't even need to shape it, because I can shape it when it's done, but it's just as easy to shape here. Okay. So as I put things in, I'm going to put the hardest things in first. It's going to be this. And I'm going to UV that. I've got little bits and pieces of dried flowers, plastic flowers, paper flowers. I also have like nail art stickers. I use whatever I can that's about the right scale. And I hold this UV on until the stem is upright. Okay. Now anything else I add to this, I'm going to have to add the UV to it. And some things I will glue. But this is plastic, so I will use the UV. And hold it in place until the UV cures. And I might have to add more. And my yellow is falling. Okay, and then I'm also going to use white tacky glue. I just put a little piece here. I don't know where my palette is. And glue some of this back here. And a little bit of resin would be perfect. If I could dribble just a little bit on it in the middle. I don't know if I can control it that well. Yep. I hope you can see this. And then, sorry. Sorry. Didn't mean to kick you. I want to put, this is going to be tacky glue for this one. Another flower over here maybe. Put it on the plastic, it'll help grab it. And I know the tacky will dry clear. And then I'll put some of this little foamy So sometimes in my baskets outside in the pond, I don't actually see the basket. Other times I can. And I'll put a little bit right here. Problem is my tweezers are now getting dirty, so it's sticking. And then I gotta put something on this side to hold it up. It'll probably be this in UV. I'll be able to push it up with my fingers. Like that. Yeah, I gotta work with clean tweezers. This sticking to the tweezers and not helping me. Let me see if I can dry that. Just to add some texture to the pond. My pond always has floating baskets. I'm also going to make a little bridge. Not very realistic, but colorful. And then these I have to UV the bottom of it because there's no guarantee that it dried or cured. So I just got to get it without ruining my coaster mold. Here we go. I could feel it gooey. Oh. Come on. Come on. Fudgioli. Okay. Gotta get that dry so it's not sticking to everything. If I had any more of that yellow, that would have been perfect, but there you go. And I gotta dry this because it's wet. That is how I made my UV, my little floating baskets for the pond. They're not ready to go on yet, but I was playing around with it and I figured I'd show you how I make them. And I've got this extra foliage. I probably put it somewhere with tacky glue. Like this needs tweezers. These are dried flowers. I pinch in my fingers. See, I get the glue on the tweezers and forget. Just to add some texture. This is not coming off my tweezers now. I'll put this over here. And I'll have them floating in the pond. Okay, I'm ready for my next pour. And this is a little yellowish, not quite even a brown. I just didn't want to pour too much at one time. And I do want to start adding some of my floating baskets. They're not attached, they're just floating baskets. I'm so excited. But they're going to be the last thing I add because they sit on top of the water. Oop. Gonna make sure it drips down the rock, not the side of the pan. Whew. It's all good. Kind of different pouring all the same colors all the time, huh? I don't think this pour is actually going to cover all the fish. I will definitely need one more. So close. So close. In about an hour or so, when it gets super thick and super heavy, I might add a couple plants just to get them settled in but not floating. But not those plants. Those plants are my floating baskets. The battery died. Something's wrong with the battery dies all the time. So let me get these off. I was just doing a dry fit, and of course now that I have gloves on I won't be able to get them off. Okay. And I am doing a smaller layer because there's some fins sticking out just a tad bit. And this layer I think I want to do clear, like a top coat. Let's see here. Alright, I'm going to wait for this to get a little bit more tacky and then put on my top layer of flowers. And that'll be it until I learn how to do a waterfall.
Hey, everybody, it's Susie Q. Hey, everybody, it's Susie Q. Na hey, everybody, it's Susie Q. So come along with me. Said I'm Susie Q.